I do love my coffee. Hey, welcome back everybody to Fire and Lemon. In today's video, we're going to get some mud on these walls and ceiling. And in between coats, we're going to start our floor. So stick around with me, will ya? Well, last week you saw me install the drywall. And this week, and obviously you can tell, I'm far from a professional, but hey, a lot of this is either going to be behind cupboards or behind backsplash. So I'm not overly worried about it, but if this was a different room, I might be a little more stressed over it, but I can fix these anyways. And that's what I'll do today. We'll put in all our mud, we'll fill our holes, we'll fix our little mistakes here and there, and we'll get going on that. In between those coats, because I need those to set up and dry, I'm going to start fixing my floor. So a few videos back, when I took the cupboards out, I fixed the subfloor, the plywood underneath. I installed new stuff. I guess you could debate whether or not to put tile under a cupboard that nobody will ever see, but you know what, I think that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have a flat, consistent floor. So what that means is some of these tiles I had to cut to put around the old floor cupboards when I put this floor in. So I got to take those out. I got to put my mesh in, my grout in, or my cement in, and put in new tiles. So in between the mudding and the sanding and all that, I'll work on the floor as well. So I guess we got to start this mudding. This is not my favorite thing to do, and I'm not overly good at it. So any tips or anything you guys have, leave comments down below. I'd love to hear them. But I'll show you what I do anyways, right or wrong. That's what I do. Before I get started, I just want to go through the equipment that I use because it's incredibly expensive and very elaborate. Kidding. So it's just a couple of knives, some sandpaper. I like these two 5-inch and a 6-inch knives. Partly because they're different in angle, right? So depending on where I'm trying to get into, I like to have that option. I also like how flexible these things are, as opposed to like a scraper, which is very rigid. So that works really well for me. The other one, of course, is my 12-inch knife. Now, I actually use this for several things. One, of course, to make a nice wide spread of mud. But the second thing is I actually use this as my hawk. For those that don't know, there's either troughs to put your mud in or a hawk. A hawk is like a handle with a big flat surface on it where you scoop off. I bought the trough, I hate the trough, and I never went back and bought a hawk. So I kind of use this as my hawk, right or wrong. That way I just get a little bit on here and get to work with it. Of course, the other one is my corner knife. I guess the professionals don't really like this or use this, but I certainly do like it. It helps me a lot getting a good job done. As far as sanding goes, very simple. I got just a quick touch up for the hand. I've got my spongy sandpaper thing here, which works really well when they wear out. I have another one. And then of course this cheap thing that I keep telling myself to buy another one. Buy a good one. I never do. So, but anyways, this one works really well. You can put a pole on it, so that way you can do ceilings or far to reach areas. You can do large areas too quickly. So this is very useful. Next one is tape. I know a lot of people. Well, there's some people that do like using fiberglass. I'm not a big fan of the fiberglass. This stuff works just fine. I've heard that the fiberglass also doesn't like the normal drywall, so that's even another reason why I don't use it. But this is simple, it's cheap, you can cut it on the spot, and off you go. That's the tools. Other than the mud. So there's two types of mud that I use, or drywall compound. I call it mud. I use just the general one for the final coat, and I also have another product that has a hardener in it, and that hardener allows it to set up quickly, and that speeds things up for me, because you have to wait for everything to dry before you can put on your second coat. So if I can get this hardened mud on first, and then shortly thereafter I'm ready, you know, within a couple hours to put on another coat, that's perfect. So that's what I do. All right, next move, what we got to do is, before we get the mud out, we need to, sorry for the noise, we need to check all our spots. You know, I put this drywall up very quickly. It's hard work. It's hard on my arms. So there's probably spots where you know, something's sticking out. And I want to go around with my knife and make sure I can hear if there's something sticking out. So if there is like if there's a little bump, I want to take care of that now before I start mudding. When it's a little protrusion like this, which is an old hole, I just use the end of this, and all I do is I just kind of squish it in. So now it's a little bit of a dimple, which is good because I'll just fill that with mud. If there's a protrusion, that's a problem. Or I'll look around for any loose drywall little pieces, because I don't want that going in my mud. That's going to cause me a lot of grief. So I want it nice and clean, and you know, make sure all my screws are set. Yeah, then after that I got to fix these kind of things. So I'll go around with the hardener drywall compound and fix these first, put a little tape on that and get that going. Then my inside corners. Let's do this. I can't prolong anymore.
It looks really good. Good job.
Thanks.
Hey, didn't you say that professionals didn't get it on themselves?
Well, yeah, I mean, not, but what? Oh. I'm not a professional. Ooh. Yikes. Okay, I sound like Darth Vader. I've got this all taped up, closed up, so that way the dust won't go down. I got my curtain. It's time to do some sanding. Yeah, baby. I can't wait. Got my mask on. Let's get this done. Get you guys up here so we can get started. I always like to try and feather, so I'm going to do more out here than up here. And then when I do it, I don't go this way, I go at a 45 because I don't want that whole surface chewing up the edge. So when I do the inside, I do it that way. I don't think you're going to hear me when I start sanding, so I'm going to stop talking now. Alright, I am going to put on the last coat, not everywhere, because a lot of this is going to be behind cupboards, so I don't care about it. But the places that aren't, like here, I will. I just want to point out something. So what you see here is a gap between the corner and out here. What I want to do, I can't get rid of the gap because there's always going to be a positive bump. But what I want to do is I want to spread that bump out and fill this area here. Not necessarily all the way out here, but I definitely want to make it wider. So wherever there's mud, I want to make it wider. So along here, right? But I won't bother with behind the cupboards, but I will do the exposed areas. All right, let's do this. Okay, well that is a wrap again. That's a video and it's time for a beer. Yeah, I deserve this. I worked hard. All right, well let me show you what I did. I didn't finish everything I thought, but as usual, I always get ahead of myself thinking I'll do more. So I pretty much got, I do need to do another coat up here, around here. Just a very thin set coat, so that won't take long to dry. I did get all the rest done. Okay, so that's nice and wide. It's not dry yet, obviously, but by next video it will be dry. So again, all this stuff is going to be covered with cupboards, and cupboards down here, backsplash all the way around. The only thing that's going to be showing is this part, of course, all the ceiling, and from about here over will be showing here over, but all this and all of this will be covered with cupboards, backsplash, right? So we're good to go. So the only thing left is I need to do a quick sand, then I'll do a quick primer. I'm not overly concerned yet about paint. Probably will paint the ceiling though before I do the cupboards and all that, but I do need to finish that. I'm having a quick beer, so I'm gonna sign off. Guys, thanks for taking the time out of your busy lives to watch our videos. I do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, now would be a great time to do it. Don't forget the thumbs up and the notification. I heard that YouTube's kind of messing up with subscribers and notifications. So hey, please re-hit that notification button. As I said, I'm no pro. So if there's any comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.